What's going on, guys? We're going to be going over the UFC 305, the main event, what went down in it, some things that other people might have missed. We're going to go over, is the beef still around? What's the next move for Dricus and for Israel Adesanya? Is Israel Adesanya retiring because he took off his gloves or not? Also, we're going to go into a little bit about Alex Pereira calling out Dricus and some more, guys. We have a little bit of an interesting episode today. If y'all support this channel whatsoever, if you could, just go to my last 8 videos, run them up. I didn't post 2 Mondays ago, and my views went from 2,000 a video down to 1 view, literally. So with that, we're going to get into the card, guys. A couple of things I want to start off real quick is with Tai Tuivasa and Rosenstruck. In that fight, one of the judges, in my opinion, the first round was pretty evenly. You could have given it to Tai, and I think 2 of the judges did. And the rest, Rosenstruck definitely took the cake. Now, one of the judges scored Tai Tuivasa, winning all 3 rounds. He immediately was actually relieved from duty and said, hey, you are not judging anymore for the rest of this night, because I think he had a few more fights that he was going to be judging. Thought that was a little interesting. Dan Hooker versus Mateusz Gamrot. What a banger of a fight. Hooker winning round 1. Round 2, Hooker lost because Gamrot's wrestling was definitely nullifying his striking. And then round 3, man, the dog came out. Obviously, Gamrot's a dog too, but Hooker, when he's fighting, he is giving it his all. It was such an amazing fight. I think Dan Hooker, his next move, obviously he called out Conor McGregor, he called out everyone. He wants to go on a title run, but I think his next move is probably going to be for the BMF. I don't think Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway are fighting for the BMF. I think they're just fighting for the featherweight title. So I think that would be really fun to see freaking Holloway versus Hooker. I think that'd be a great striking match. Kai Kara-France versus Stephen Greg. That was an awesome fight. I can't believe we got that first round finish. But let's get right into it. Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. Dricus, I keep calling him Dricus because of Sean Strickland. I've been watching all the press conferences. He choked him out in the 4th round after literally almost knocking him out. So I want to kind of get into this, to the fight. We want to go, we got a lot of beef going on. What happened in it? Is there still beef? What are the next moves for everything? And so in this fight, it's weird. Israel Adesanya said in the press conference he slipped in the 4th round, and then Dricus got the choke in. That's not what happened at all. So in the 4th round, Israel Adesanya definitely was finding his way with Dricus when it came to on the feet, and then all of a sudden Dricus clipped him, dropped him while Israel Adesanya's back was on the cage. Israel Adesanya stood up after just getting dropped by some punches. He points to the ground hey, let's meet in the middle. They do it again. Dricus drops Izzy again. Izzy, does the thing where he turns the cage and he starts kind of running away a little bit? Well, as he's turning and running, Dricus is hitting him. If I could do a fist behind me, he's hitting Izzy in the face hard while Izzy's kind of running away, and that's what ultimately lets Dricus grab the back and choke out Israel. What could have been different in that fight? It was really cool seeing Izzy put on the heat. It really looked like when it came to the striking exchanges, Izzy had him. When it came to the grappling, Dricus was able to have success and take down Izzy, but he was not able to ever do any real damage or hold Izzy down. As you know, it is such a hard person is to hold down is Israel Adesanya. Now, obviously, Dricus did get the choke. He's the first person ever to submit Izzy, so it's kind of funny. It's okay, Izzy's striking's better, but, he's still getting knocked out. I know he got choked out, but Izzy got dropped, 2 to 3-ish, 4-ish times, before he got choked out. So, right before he pointed down, Dricus hit him, dropped him, he gets up, he's meet in the middle. Within 10 seconds later, Dricus is on his back, but within that time, Izzy starts running away, and Dricus is hitting him, makes him drop, while he's running away, following the cage, and so Izzy's issue is he outstrikes these guys, but then when they touch him, think Alex Pereira, they knock him out, and so that's one thing he needs to be really careful with. I think his ego was way too high. He's oh, he caught me, it won't happen again. Dricus, he did it again, and he caught him again, and then he choked him out. So I think with Izzy, he said that he's going to take some time off. He's going to work on his wrestling and his grappling, which I think he should have been doing that years ago. And he's going to work on his striking. I think he said something to the effect that he wants to make his punches harder, which I think that really would help him out if he had more knockout power. Because there were some times, man, when Izzy would set up these beautiful uppercuts, 100%, everything in there, and it wouldn't even like phase Dricus. You know what I mean? Now, Izzy had a lot of success hitting the body with his leg kicks, but specifically, he was actually, which is kind of interesting to me because Izzy's a southpaw, he was hitting the right side of Dricus's body all the time, never really hit the left side, but when he was hitting that right side, man, he was finding success. And I know at least in the boxing world, and I could be a little bit wrong here, but, for me, I always, learn, you go for the left hand for the liver, and that's where you normally go. And Izzy was hitting him so good and so hard to the body. He was stabbing Dricus that you could tell the body shots were accumulating and wearing them on him, but it wasn't enough. And one thing about Dricus, man, he always looks so exhausted, and he goes for that finish. There was a time, I think, in the second round, Dricus got dropped by Izzy, and, he gets dropped, and he falls into a single leg and takes down Izzy. He's an animal. Look up Dricus's fights. All of his finishes basically look like he is out of air, gasping like a great white shark, and he literally is able to either take you down or knock you out. So I want to go a little bit over Israel Adesanya's reaction. So after the fight, the first thing Dricus did, come up to him, he said, hey, I meant no disrespect whatsoever to your family, in the press conference, he's just talking shit, building up the fight, and so I thought it was really honorable to see that. So let's go ahead and click play on this.
Adesanya says he is now a fan of Dricus du Plessis, as he says he's not desperate for a rematch. He also discusses taking off his gloves after the fight. He says it had nothing to do with retirement.
I'm sure losing to this guy stings a little bit more than they maybe normally would.
Yeah.
How desperate are you to get this one back, and how are you going to carry that disappointment moving forward?
I'm not really desperate to get it back. I haven't, he gave me a lot of respect in there, and I gave him his respect back. And I already knew he was a fan of me. I knew he was a fan of me. But I guess now I'm a fan of his because we've been in there, we've done it. And when I'm in South Africa, I'll tap in with him. But I said, look, we can hang out, but just so you know, when we have to fight again, I'm going to kill you. He's like, I'm going to kill you too. So, yeah, respect is always there. And Dricus is an African champion, but, the Three Kings will reign supreme. That era right there was what set this off for people like him. And he's going to inspire another generation of African fighters as well. So congrats to him tonight. Yeah, till we meet again. I try and take each fight, each moment as if it was my last. I only took the gloves off because it was tight after the fight. I think he's got a strong head, man. I hit him with some shots. So my hand was a bit, not broken, not even close, but just a little bit sore. So that's why I took the gloves off, but nothing about retiring. I told you, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving until I want to leave.
Buzz Brands offers a wide variety of high quality, low cost, and low dose THC options. It's made for the functional person who uses THC, whether it's to enhance life, for pain, or for mood. They have energy drinks, my personal favorite, gummies, shots, and ice creams, guys. Whenever you make a purchase, enter Bear in the notes. On August 25th, I'll pick 2 or 3 of y'all, and we'll send y'all a huge care package of random items from Buzz Brands, guys. That's buckabuzz.com. Enter Bear in the notes. Let's get back to the show. Dang, so that's kind of crazy. He took off his gloves because I was expecting Izzy to retire. Let me see if I can get this ad to run through. I was expecting Izzy to retire after that, whether he won or lost, and especially if he lost, I was like, there's no way that Izzy is not retiring, and I just was completely wrong on that one because when he took off his gloves, it definitely fooled me, and I was like, oh shit, Izzy's retiring, and then he goes on to say he's not retiring, but it was like the first thing he did in the Octagon interview, he was waiting in the Octagon for his interview. I'm like, why is he waiting so impatiently for Dricus to go ahead and do his interview? And the second Daniel came over to him, he's taking off his gloves, but he did not retire. And what was really cool is to see Izzy not only doing the interviews afterwards and losing and stuff like that, which we know he's always done a true, respectful, formidable champion, but Izzy, man, his mindset is so insanely strong that all these people are calling him weak and this and that. But if you watch the post-fight press conference, listen to Izzy and just imagine the work and just the multitude of work and hours he put in to cultivate a mindset like that, man. I mean, he just seems unbothered, proud of the body of work that he's done. I mean, honestly, looking at the Izzy fighting Strickland versus now, man, and this guy took off time and he really worked on himself. That's what makes Izzy truly one of the best middleweights of all time. So now, what do you think is next for Izzy? Should he wait for an immediate rematch? Obviously, it's Israel Adesanya. He can probably do that and warrant it. or we can go fight some other guys, shake up the division, whether it's Sean Strickland. The only thing is Sean Strickland is next for Dricus du Plessis, and so I keep saying Dricus. Shout out to Sean Strickland. For Dricus du Plessis, they're fighting next for the championship. Is Izzy going to fight the winner of that? I don't know. You also know we have Robert Whitaker versus Khamzat Chimaev happening, and there's talks of the winner of them fighting for the belt next too. So it'll be interesting to see what's happening for Izzy's next and what are his next plans. But I'm telling you, it was an amazing fight. Izzy looked sharp. He was on fire. It's just that, man, when Dricus touches you, he hurts you. He freaking hurts you. And it's really cool to see that Izzy's acknowledging him as an African champion. If you don't know who the OG 3 African champions were when he was referring to that, it's Francis Ngannou, Kamaru Usman, and then, did I say Francis Ngannou, Kamaru Usman, and Israel Adesanya? Those were the 3 African champions or African-born champions that were all active at the same time, holding belts. It was a pretty cool time. This is Izzy and Dricus now meeting backstage, and Dricus giving him a gift, which I think is pretty cool, seeing how much beef there was, making Izzy cry, all this back and forth to just camaraderie and respect after sharing almost 20 minutes together in the octagon, or over 20 minutes.
Age moment between Dricus and Izzy last night after UFC 305. Dricus gave Izzy a jacket.
Ooh, respect. Thank you. I know, yes, I appreciate that. Respect.
It was a gift from the student camping and the South African started.
I did like it when I saw you wear it.
Yeah. Your arms are probably bad. There's a, I don't know longer.
Yeah.
I know your arms are long as I just told you so.
I'll get you one. This one is from the marketing thing. I've got enough one for you from the
Right.
Thank you.
I know you see the one that can't get out of your lands and all the way on the lands. That's your mind.
Thank you so much, man. Till the next one.
Man, that's so cool to see them, how everyone is just, they have so much respect and love for each other after that fight, because let me tell you, it was freaking, it was a build-up of drama and whatnot. I mean, just even like, you know, and you say you're the real African champion is a side-by-side of each other's wieners, and just them just going back and forth, and so it just really is cool to see all the respect they have. Now with that, we're going to go over to what the MMA community is reacting on and what the general thesis is of this fight. And everyone's saying that, you know, Dricus looks gas, yada, 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 which like I said, that's how he looks every fight. In a lot of the fights he has, which are finishes, he's about to get finished, or it looks like he is, and then he finishes the person. I mean, it's just, I think his heart and his will is so freaking big. It's like no matter what, he has like, you know, like when you're working out, you know, and you're on the punching bag or you're sparring and it's like your body's telling you, you know, no more. And it's like those guys are like, one more round. And they never say no to themselves, like when they're in the gym or this or that. That is literally Dricus in everything in his life, but except in the ring, man. This guy just does not give up. Absolute killer. He's like a freaking great white shark, and very entertaining fight. With that, let's see the MMA community reacting to this fight. Them kind of roasting Dricus' style, even though that's what made him win and has made him win. He's the champion now, and he's also been champion in other divisions as well, and then him kind of firing back at them at the press conference.
Next up, we have Dricus du Plessis firing back at the MMA community after his Israel Adesanya fight. After UFC 305, many people in the community called down DDP for his gas tank, saying things like, DDP is a horrible fighter, gassed out versus a 36-year-old Izzy. DDP looked gassed, was probably going to lose the decision. Gotta give him props for finding a way to win. How the F did Adesanya lose this fight? DDP was effing gassed. I'm so disappointed, man. Dricus du Plessis was like 30 seconds from being fully gassed out. Why the hell would Adesanya ask him to stand and trade? Not the biggest UFC guy, so maybe it's just something DDP does in every fight, but he looked absolutely gassed and then just exploded into Izzy. Really thought Izzy was wearing him down with the kickboxing, but DDP just overwhelmed him physically. Dricus fired back at all the haters by saying,
Playing possum? No. Looking gassed? Yeah, sure. That's why I finished it. Yeah, if that's what gas means, I'm in. For me, gas all day.
Sean Strickland demands the UFC to make his fight against DDP in America. Sean Strickland first reacted to DDP's fight saying, "Time for war, Dutchman." As we reported earlier this week, Dana White announced that if DDP wins, the UFC will go to South Africa for an event. It's important to note that Dana didn't mention when that would happen. However, Sean must have heard the news because he had this to say on X when a fan asked him where he expects the fight to take place. "Vegas, man. I always travel. Let me fight in my country, unless you want me to go fix South Africa. We can go to Africa and fight in front of a bunch of white people. LMAO. Top comments.
Couple things there. I wanted to put this here because in the next video I'm going to be talking about Alex Pereira calling out freaking Du Plessis, and also what is that going to mean for his next fight, and also that he's fighting Roundtree. That's why I'm not going to go into this video. But yeah, so we have Dricus calling out everyone for talking shit, that he's gassed. To me, those are just casual fans that haven't watched Dricus in his career. Because if you've watched him fight ever before, if you're a fan of him, you know that's what he looks like. And I was pretty excited. My wife and I did call Dricus to win, and he ended up winning. My thing was, is if he just did what he did to Sean Strickland in rounds 3, 4, 5, just the whole way, he would win. And that's basically what he did. It's what you do. You put Izzy on the back foot, but I knew Dricus had more volume, more power, and just packs more heat in his punches. And he is going to consistently shoot single leg, double leg, jump on your back. It doesn't matter. He is going to go for that takedown. He's like a Khabib going for the double leg. He's like a freaking Marab going for the single leg, except Dricus goes for everything. And I'm not comparing the striking or taking away anything from Khabib's striking, because, you know, he did drop Conor McGregor, but Dricus has hands, man. He's got freaking hands, and it overwhelmed Izzy. Izzy did find his success, but that is, I think Izzy's going to find success in every fight he has, man. He is literally the best, or one of the best, pure strikers, you know, freaking freestyle strikers in the world. You know what I mean? Another guy I can think of, obviously, is Sean O'Malley. Those two guys, amazing strikers, but Izzy, man, has just been around for so long. His fight IQ is so good, but it's just, it was a little low when he said pointing here, come to the cage. And so, obviously, we know next, Sean Strickland's next for Dricus. Dana White said it 6 million times. You know they're not going to listen to Sean Strickland and have it in Las Vegas. They're going to go do it in South Africa. The build-up there has been huge. Dricus has been calling for it, and calling for it. I can't wait for it. I just hope that Dricus this time doesn't go with the game plan he did last fight and picks it up and puts on the pressure that he normally does starting round 1, because the last fight he did it starting round 3, and that's when he ended up winning the last 2 rounds. So, leaving it there, guys, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen next? Dricus versus Sean Strickland. Do you think that rematch, do you think Sean Strickland's going to pick up the pressure, have more power in his punches, and try to get the finish or try to win rounds? Or do you think that Dricus is going to do what he's already predicted to do, saying, hey, I already know Sean Strickland. You just saw what I did to Izzy versus what he did to Izzy. I'm going to finish Strickland. If I had to guess, I think that Dricus finishes Strickland, guys. That is just my opinion. That's the call. I'm putting it right here. Comment down below. What do you think, guys? If you got any entertainment out of it, give me a like, thumbs up, run up my past like 8 videos. They've gotten like 0 views because YouTube is shadow banning me for some reason. September 1st, I'm going to pick a subscriber randomly and send you a pack of Pro V1 golf balls, and I'll put your little YouTube handle on there. But if you're over the age of 21, I'll send you some stuff from Buzz Brands. Link down below. Love you guys. I'm out. Peace.